Good morning. I'm Tilile Bata, and I'm doing a reflection video on the social sciences history, grade 7 class. The topic is the transatlantic slave trade, also known as the triangular trade. The duration of the lesson is 45 minutes, and the lesson is for Team 2, of course. At the beginning of the lesson, the learners took out their working instruments, the atlas, their pencils, their pens, and their rulers, their exercise books, and everything was placed right on their desk. And as an educator, I introduced the lesson by asking them to try and define the keyword slave auction, slave owner, and the learners were very active and participating. They were asking questions, they were intrigued into the lesson. It's attracted their whole uh, attention because somehow it's related to an animated movie they have once watched. So that's how the introduction of the lesson was easy. And for the activities, the learners were asked to define auction, define slave driver, the slave owner. They were asked to name the crops that the African slaves were planting in America, to name the things that were traded in exchange for the slaves by the British, and listening to how I, as an educator, was bringing life into the lesson. It somehow developed and gained sympathy and empathy for them because of how they felt on behalf of the slaves. Hearing that they were treated badly, they were getting injured, they were dying on the ships, they were getting beaten for no reason, and most importantly, they were forcefully taken from their home country to work as slaves in another country. And for that, the lesson was very flowing. They understood everything, they answered beautifully, and they got the questions correct, and so their answers were very spot on. They were very spot on, and the whole lesson was a success. And so for homework, I gave them an activity to do a poster at home for the slave auction parts, the slave trade parts that happened in West Africa, and the boats. They had to draw the triangular trade and explain the goods that were from British to Africa, the goods that were from Africa to America, the goods that were from America to British, that formed a triangular shape kind of cycle that was happening in between those three countries that I have mentioned. And that's all. Thank you.